What's up, landlords? Today I'm going to go over some marketing tips and tricks. What's funny is everybody thinks they're doing a good job. Everybody thinks they got it figured out. They're the smartest. They're the best. When you're listing your properties, there's one of two ways I see you can go about it. You can either cast a really big net and like a fisherman dragging these big nets all over the ocean. And then when they pull them up, they're pulling up like crabs and bottom feeders and all this other mess. And as a landlord, I look at that as like you're attracting a lot of like low quality leads. Hey, is this place still available? And people that know they don't meet your credit score requirements, or they're just trying to see if they can beat the system, skirt around. They're looking for mom and pop landlords. So you're pulling up all this mess that you got to sort through. Then there's other people that want to be fishing, dropping a very good quality bait down in a good area and pinpoint targeting the best fish. Are you a landlord is trying to cast a big net and you're like, oh, I'm listing on all these platforms, and you think listing on a lot of platforms is a good thing? I listed on all of them, and I did tests and experiments and everything, and I tracked where you coming from. I made sure to point to ask every single person, where are you coming from? How'd you find me? Say 80%, that 80-20 rule almost, were just crap leads, and they were just like, they weren't worth my time. So I was always trying to figure out a way to bring those people down. I just was focusing on that high quality 20%. I've now pinpointed I'm only on Zillow. If you're fishing for people, that's like the best spot. People are only on Zillow when they're looking for a place to rent. When you're on Facebook or Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, it's like dragging a big net, and you're just catching everything, and there's spammers and there's people that aren't serious, and it's just a bunch of noise, and it's not worth my time. So I don't do that. I put a lot of effort in building a rental listing. And this is a demo example that I got here, where I actually took Shaquille O'Neal's house here in Orlando when it was being sold, and I grabbed all the photos. And this is what the scammers do. They will steal your listings and they will list them as their own. Be aware of this as a DIY landlord, that tenants might have been burned, or they're skeptical sometimes. So you got to give them a good warm and fuzzy, and you want to present yourself as a very good professional. So this is how you do it. You take really good quality photos, and you want to make sure everything flows. You want to make sure you have the highest quality dimensions. You want to make sure you use a watermark. You can put like your website if you have it. And you want to maybe have the feature photo something like twilight in the evening with the lights on, and it's going to be something pop. I got a whole bunch of notes I can talk to you offline with all that stuff about doing this really good. You could take it really serious and do a 3D tour. You could even film yourself on YouTube. You could do a live stream, and it will put all that storage of you walking through there up on the cloud. And then you could just recycle that video through YouTube and a link, and have that in your listing. Anyway, something else you might want to consider is doing a aerial overview with like a map, like into the neighborhood, and then like a feature photo right here where you just have the front. And then you want to do like the local area, where you point out how close proximity you are. And what you're doing is you're trying to really do good. It's like having a really good bait, and you're fishing in the right spot, and you're trying to attract the best tenant. You don't want to waste your time with other people. You actually want to discourage them. The more professional you are, the more of a front of like, hey, corporate professionalism. You're not tricking me. You're going to follow rules. There's going to be late payments and stuff, and there's qualification standards. I'm not a traditional mom and pop landlord and stuff. Here's another thing you do. So when you're doing this, list yourself as the property manager on your Zillow rental profile. And then it would discourage those people looking for, mom and pop landlords. There's tenants that have stuff to hide, and they know that it's harder to hide it from the corporate landlords and stuff. So they look to exploit, do-it-yourself landlords that are cutting corners or not as thorough. You can make a floor plan here and just, highlight the different rooms, square footage, or something like that. And then you can even do something like this, like a fraud alert. Hey, we'll never ask for money before you see the property, and we're BBB accredited. You do not want to allow them to just reach out and just apply automatically, because Zillow has a feature where you can just automatically apply, and you don't want a bunch of noise and people. You want to turn that off, and you want everybody to request a tour. When you do that, all you got to do is copy a template like this, swap out their name, paste it in, and you're not reading anything. You don't want to know about their excuses. Don't let them pull you down into like the weeds of, hey, I'm not ready to move right now, but this, and I really like the area, my cousin and my brother and all this nonsense. What about Section 8? You're not talking to anyone. You're just copy and paste. copy and paste. Then they follow the directions. If they follow the directions, they're going to go to something like this, a pre-leasing app of some sort. You can build your own, or you can just have questions. If you're like a basic brand new started out landlord, and just paste it into the chat and say, hey, you got to answer these questions real quick. But that's more time and effort, and it's not something you want to do forever. So I'm all about cash flow forever, and I'm the forever landlord here. So I'm trying to figure out ways to make this super simple and easy. And I'm always testing and optimizing for that, for real freedom. And that's what you guys should be doing. You shouldn't just find one kind of path and just stick to it. You need to be flexible and adapt and adjust, and always try to figure out a way to make it easier. Anyways, they're going to answer this out. This is just a demo, and you want to make sure somebody's serious. So there's formulas built in here. If somebody says, oh, I'm just one heart serious, I'm not even going to see them. It'll let them go all the way through and complete this. But I have formulas in there that, like some automation or whatever, that's going to kick that to the side, and other stuff. Like if they're saying that they want to move in ASAP or soon, within 7 to 14 days, good. But if they click later or not sure, nope, it's going to get kicked to the side. And this takes effort to build up front. But once I got it built, I just keep recycling it over and over. The infrastructure's there. It's so simple. It takes no time. And then when I get alerted at the very end, I'll get an email say, hey, XYZ 123 whoever completed, and then I will reach out to them and I'll go through the rest of my process of onboarding the tenant. But this is me showing you, don't cast a really wide net, go narrow and pinpoint laser accuracy. Something once they get through that process, let's say they're good, they check out and they do have questions. I don't individually answer questions. I say, hey, if you have questions, I send them to my leasing FAQs. They can go dig through this stuff on their own. And that's something you need: an equal opportunity, fair housing poster on your website, in your office. If you're seeing tenants and stuff like that, you'll get hemmed up if you don't know the rules. But if you know the rules, it's easy to follow it. You just plaster that thing on your website. Bam, just like that. I'm trying to move along and just get some value out here. And if you guys have questions, reach out to me and we can do one-on-one chats, or attend these landlording live calls. Nobody showed up today, so I'm just doing my own thing. But if you have specific questions or specific situation, a listing, we can go through it together one-on-one. I give you all my undivided attention, and we can just work out systems and address any kind of concerns or questions you got. So here's the lease. You want to make sure your lease is online. This is an example one, and I highlight specific things that landlords should have. And you could take your time and read through this. It's built in with systems and processes that I like, that is hands off. And I'm constantly trying to train the tenant to be a resident, a long-term resident that stays a long time. I want them to have ownership. I'm always, grooming them, helping, assisting, but I'm never doing stuff. This is not a hotel. I'm not letting them treat me like a hotel, and I have to set those parameters and that standard early on, because it could it could get crazy if you just start attending to every little nuance things. You got to train them in the beginning a little bit. And you got to understand the tenant too, because they don't want to, when they move in, they don't want to get hemmed up for these like damages or little like nooks and crannies and issues. And they're just being overly cautious. Don't take offense if they're like pointing out everything. Cause like, here's the move-in condition report. I have them complete this. They can do it on their phone, and they can upload the photos right on their phone. They do it on day one when they get access to the property. And it's just really easy. I recycle this. They use it for move-ins, move-outs, and renewals. And all you got to do is just click through. If there's no issues, you just go next, next, next. If there's an issue on something, let's say something's damaged, now I need pictures. I need proof. But let's say there's nothing. Click, 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 click all the way through. And then when they get to the end, here's something that I require, because I always want to get my little bit of eyesight on a few important things. And let me get to the end here. And those items are the living room. I want an overview of the living room. Make sure they're not like, some kind of hoarder situation. I want an overview of the kitchen. I want to see the HVAC filters clean, because that's a hot button issue here in Florida. And then I want a picture of like the front yard entrance area. And then they're going to be checking this stuff and signing it. Bam, just knocking it out. Systems. The processes like this, just making life easy. But you have to build this infrastructure, and it takes time and effort. But once it's done, it's just amazing. Homepage on the website, I'm constantly referring the tenants back to that. Hey, did you check the FAQs? And then if they have a question, I'm always referring them to how they can get the resources on their own. You want to rely on that, your business hours and stuff. And let's say they live in XYZ community. This is the specific links I would send. Let's say they have a question about a home warranty. I would copy this link right here and I would send it to them, and they would be able to, self-serve. And additionally, what I would do is I would go to my unbranded YouTube channel where I do how-to demos, 4K short, straight to the point, and I share a link to this. Like, here's an example of one, if you can check this out.
Have you plugged something into an outlet and it's not turning on? You checked the breaker panel, but nothing has tripped. Now look for a tripped GFCI outlet. If you don't know where it is, just look at all the other outlets in the vicinity until you find one that has a suppressed button. These kinds of outlets can be in tricky hidden places, a nearby room, or even outside. When the GFCI trips, it kills the power for all other outlets on its circuit. But it's an easy fix. Just press the button firmly to reset the circuit and restore power. Pro tip: if you have a voltage tester, you can use it to see if power is going to the outlet. This can help rule out the question, is it the outlet or my device that doesn't work? The voltage tester flashes and chimes when it detects power, and that's how it's done.
That's pretty much it right there. That's all I got. I wanted to make this like short and sweet, straight to the point, just throwing some stuff out there. I got so much more methodical detail, step by step, do this, do that. But whenever you're putting videos out there initially, people don't want to hear all those like nuances. They're like, get to the point already. And I'm just trying to quickly move through stuff. So there's probably questions that you have. Definitely hit me up. Let me know what kind of questions you have if you're interested in anything like this. Or let's say you got something better. I want to know about that because I'm definitely open to changing my process. I have a 10-step, leasing process, and I break down each individual step. And whenever I'm doing like experiments, I treat it like experiment. I hold everything constant. I don't change anything else, but I will modify one thing. Let's say the pre-leasing app. In the very beginning, I had to work on that like crazy because I've heard many people say, oh, the tenants won't do that, or the prospective tenants won't take it. And I had that issue a little bit too. I was wondering, like, why aren't they doing it? It's because if you make some kind of really clunky, super long, multiple page and thing, it's like discouraging to people, especially if you don't have a really top of the line, like high quality product that they want. If you have a banging rental property and the tenants want it, you can have some kind of more clunkier system, and the prospective tenants, whoever's applying will go through all your hoops that you need to do and in order to get it because they really want it. But you got to consider that you don't want your pre-leasing app, that I call it, to be too overbearing. You got to really think hard. What questions do I absolutely need to know now? This is not an application. I just want to vet them before I actually show them the property. So you got to experiment with that. What that means is do not change anything else in your process. Hopefully you have a process set up, and then you start implementing this pre-leasing app with a link, and you'll start looking at the results. Oh, nobody completed it, or some people completed it. Ask them, hey, what'd you think of that? And get some input from them. And you're constantly trying to get better and better, and ask other people in the school community, hey, what about this? Or check this out, or attend these calls, and I'll look at it. But that's it for now. Thank you guys for showing up and participating in the community. This is awesome. Let me know if you need any help. If you're interested in joining, if you see this on YouTube, go to landlordingschool.com and click, book a call, and I'll show you inside, and we can do whatever you want, address concerns and all that stuff. All right, see it. Bye.